Good evening from the State of Kuwait. Welcome to the 7 o'clock news for Saturday, the 17th of September 2014. I am Dalia Badran with the headlines for tonight. The representative of His Highness the Emir leaves for New York, concluding an official visit to Germany. The representative of His Highness the Emir holds official talks with the German Chancellor discussing key regional and international issues. France carries out its first airstrikes against the IS militants in Iraq, joining the US in military action against the group. Scotland votes to stay in the United Kingdom after voters decisively rejected independence. Hello and welcome. His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency, the Governor General of St. Kitts Edmund Lawrence, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness the Crown Prince, Sheikh Nawaf Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, also sent a cable of congratulations to His Excellency, the Governor General of St. Kitts Edmund Lawrence, on the occasion of his country's National Day. His Highness the Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, also sent a similar cable of congratulations. Representatives of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, and the accompanying delegation left Germany today, heading to New York City in the United States, representing His Highness the Emir in chairing Kuwait's delegation in the meetings of the 69th session of the General Assembly of the United Nations. His Highness the Prime Minister has represented His Highness the Emir in the celebration that Daimler Company has organized on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of Kuwait's investment in the company. During the visit, His Highness the Premier met with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel, where they discussed ways of bolstering the bilateral relations and strengthening cooperation between the two countries in different fields, in addition to discussing the regional and the international issues of mutual interest. His Highness the Prime Minister and the accompanying delegation were seen off at the airport by Kuwait's ambassador to Germany, Mundar Badr Al-Isa, and the members of the embassy. Representative of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, and the accompanying delegation have met with the German Chancellor Angela Merkel during the official visit that took one day in the German capital Berlin. During the meeting that was held in a friendly atmosphere, which reflected the strong historical relations between the two countries for 50 years, the political, economic, and military cooperation fields and ways to develop them were discussed. The two sides also discussed the current political situations and development, as well as the continuous efforts exerted by the State of Kuwait as the head of the current session of the Arab League towards these situations in order to reach the stability and security in the region. Threats and dangers of terrorism and extremist groups in the region were also discussed during the meeting. During the visit, His Highness the Premier praised the procedures that were taken by the German government to support the efforts of the international community in this issue. The representative of His Highness the Emir, Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, affirmed that celebrating the 40th anniversary of Kuwait's investment in Daimler Company transpires a successful economic partnership between the State of Kuwait and Germany. His Highness the Prime Minister said in the celebration that Daimler Company organized last night on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of Kuwait's investment that this partnership reflects clearly the success of the constructive outlook of His Highness the late Emir Sheikh Jaber Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah for investing financial surpluses in long-term investments for backing the next generations. His Highness the Prime Minister added that the future aspirations and guidelines of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah to bolster the economic relations and investment with Germany come to cement and develop the relations between the two countries. Mercedes-Benz Museum in the German city Stuttgart witnessed a ceremony last night celebrating the 40th anniversary of the cooperative partnership between the German Group for Automotive Industry and Kuwait. The ceremony was attended by the representative of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, members of the official accompanying delegation, Head of Kuwait Chamber for Commerce and Industry Ali Thnayan Al-Ghanem, board members of the Public Authority for Investment, Kuwait's ambassador to Germany, Dr. Mundir Al-Ghanem, and Kuwait's consul in Frankfurt, Asad Al-Bahar. The event began with a speech delivered by Chairman of the Board of Trustees of Daimler Company, praising the cooperation between the company and the Public Authority for Investment. He said that the last 40 years, Kuwait became the partner that can be trusted in spite of the obstacles that Daimler Company faced recently, adding that they thank Kuwait for this partnership as the company is proud of having a partner by their side that they can depend on and build a bright future for the company. For his part, the company's chairman of the board of directors praised the partnership with Kuwait and Public Authority for Investment, adding that in the last 40 years, Kuwait and the Public Authority for Investment provided them with the full support to take the right decisions and gave them the freedom to develop the company. Representative of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, visited the design center in the German Group for Automotive Industry, Daimler, and was received by the Chairman of the Board of Directors of the company, Head of the Financial Department, Head of the Development and Research Department, in addition to the Head of the Design Center. During the visit, His Highness the Prime Minister had an inspection tour of the center where His Highness identified its divisions and listened to the explanation about the procedures of the automotive production, considered one of the main divisions in Daimler. By the end of the tour, His Highness the Premier recorded a dedication in the log of honor of the company. His Highness the Premier congratulated all staff in charge of Daimler Company, expressing his admiration of the company's march and its achievement, wishing for more flourishing commerce relations with the State of Kuwait. The representative of His Highness the Emir Sheikh Sabah Al-Ahmad Al-Jaber Al-Sabah, His Highness Sheikh Jaber Al-Mbarak Al-Hamad Al-Sabah, the Prime Minister, has arrived at Stuttgart Airport, where His Highness the Premier expressed his happiness for the outstanding level of cooperative economic relations between the two brotherly countries, adding that the investments of the Public Authority for Investment in Germany have tripled in the last 10 years, as it reached almost 14 billion euros. His Highness the Prime Minister said that the Public Authority for Investment has close ties with many banks and companies in Germany. His Highness said that the increasing of the investments of the Kuwaiti private sector in Daimler Company and many other German companies has contributed in bolstering the relations between the two countries, adding that Kuwait's participation in the company's establishment anniversary celebration is very important. French President François Hollande announced that his country carried out its first airstrikes in Iraq today, hitting a logistics depot held by the Islamic State terrorists. In a statement issued by the Élysée Presidential Palace, Hollande said the target in the northeastern Iraq was entirely destroyed in the attack by Rafale fighter jets. Hollande added that France would not go beyond airstrikes in support of the Iraqi military or the Kurdish Peshmerga forces and would attack targets in Syria, where the IS militants are also operating. With these strikes, France becomes the first foreign country to publicly add military muscle to United States airstrikes against the IS group. In the heat of an election campaign, Congress cleared the way for the U.S. military to train and equip Syrian rebels for a war against Islamic State militants, reluctant ratification of a new strategy that President Barack Obama outlined scarcely a week ago. The Senate vote sent Obama legislation that also provides funding for the government after the end of the budget year on September 30th, eliminating any threat of a shutdown. In an appearance at the White House soon after the vote, Obama reaffirmed that he does not intend to send the troops into combat against the Islamic State, adding that the U.S. troops will support Iraqi forces on the ground as they fight for their own country against these terrorists. The remarks came as the IS militants advanced its grip on portions of Syria and Iraq, seizing 16 predominantly Kurdish villages near the Turkish border. The Turkish military has strengthened its security measures as Syrian refugees continue to arrive at the Turkish border today, fleeing from clashes between Islamic State forces and Kurdish forces in villages between the Tel Abyad and Kobani districts of Syria. Turkish Prime Minister Ahmed Davutoglu said that this country will take in the refugees from Syria or any other place without any ethnic or sectarian discrimination. Earlier this week, President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said that Turkey was developing plans for a buffer zone on its border with Iraq and Syria. Turkey, which shares a border with Iraq and Syria, has taken in more than 847,000 Syrian refugees since the uprising against President Bashar al-Assad began in 2011. In Yemen, armed Houthi rebels shelled the state-run television building today as they advanced into the capital Sana'a, forcing hundreds to flee their homes in a dramatic escalation of violence after weeks of fighting and protests. Officials said that the conflict intensified yesterday when the Houthi rebels clashed with the army on the outskirts of Sana'a and expanded into fighting mainly between the Houthis and the tribesmen allied with the Al-Ahmar clan. The government soldiers were taking up defensive positions around the state institutions, while mouths appeared to be in control of some northern streets as fighting continued along Talaltin Street, a major route into the western edge of Sana'a, despite reports of an agreement between the Yemeni government and the Houthi rebels. The rebels appeared more determined than ever to step up military pressure on Sana'a to secure their demands, a new government and more power for their community. Meanwhile, the Civil Aviation Authority said in a statement issued overnight that international airlines had suspended flights to Sana'a for 24 hours because of the latest violence. Western powers told Iran it must step up cooperation with the UN watchdog's investigation into suspected atomic bomb research by the security if it wants to get a broader nuclear deal that would ease sanctions. The warning was issued at a board meeting of the UN's International Atomic Energy Agency in Vienna, as chief negotiators from Iran and 6 world powers prepared to resume talks in New York after a 2-month halt. In response, Iran's envoy dismissed the accusation about his country's atomic activities as mere allegations without any substantiations, but also said a new meeting with the IAEA to discuss the matter was expected to be held soon. Iran has been promising to cooperate with the IAEA since Hassan Rouhani was elected president last year on a platform of ending Tehran's international isolation. It says its nuclear work is for non-military purposes only. Scotland has voted to stay in the United Kingdom after voters decisively rejected independence. With the results in from all 32 council areas, the no side won with 2,000,001 votes over 1,617,000 for yes. Scotland's First Minister Alex Salmond called for unity and urged the Unionists to deliver on more powers. Meanwhile, Prime Minister David Cameron said he was delighted the United Kingdom would remain together and said the commitment on extra powers would be honored. Cameron added that the 3 main unionist parties at Westminster would now follow through with their pledge of more powers for the Scottish Parliament. Australian counter-terrorism forces detained 15 people in a series of suburban raids after receiving intelligence that the Islamic State militant group was planning public beheadings in 2 Australian cities to demonstrate its reach. About 800 federal and state police officers raided more than a dozen properties across 12 Sydney suburbs as part of the operation, the largest in Australian history. The raids came just days after the country raised its terrorism threat to the 2nd highest level in response to the domestic threat posed by the supporters of the IS group. The Australian government was one of the 40 nations that agreed to contribute to the fight against the ISIS by sending military advisors to Iraq and deploying a number of aircraft to the United Arab Emirates. Tropical storm Fang Wong, known as Mario in the Philippines, brought heavy rain and gusty winds to portions of the northern Philippines. Over a foot of rain has already fallen in the mountainous terrain, and widespread flooding has been reported in Luzon. Flooding was also reported in Manila, where at least 37,000 people have been displaced, while 3 deaths have been reported. Meanwhile, Manila airport authorities said the rain caused delays and the cancellations of at least 28 domestic flights to and from northern and central Philippines affected by the tropical storm. The Philippines, battered by an average of 20 cyclones each year that form over the Pacific Ocean, is the most at-risk nation globally from tropical storms after Japan. And finally tonight, Apple's new flagship iPhone 6 went on sale around the world and there were some early customers genuinely up to get their hands on the new device. In Japan, sales are by reservation, so queuing to purchase the phone was not strictly necessary. In Hong Kong, iPhone buyers were met with labor rights protesters complaining that the iPhone manufacturers were responsible for workers going beyond their limits to meet the enormous production quotas. Meanwhile, in Sydney, Australia, about 1,200 people were waiting outside the Apple store. Moreover, Apple announced the new device in California last week. For a chance to see our reports again, please visit our YouTube channel at the MOI Kuwait News. Before we end, here is a quick reminder of today's headlines. The representative of His Highness the Emir leaves for New York, conducting an official visit to Germany. The representative of His Highness the Emir holds official talks with the German Chancellor discussing key regional and international issues. France carries out its first airstrikes against the IS militants in